Yeah, that seems okay. Oh no, the fucking feed's after cutting out. Oh no, it's back.
Don't be shit. You're live. It's gonna be hard for you, I know. But hey, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are very welcome to the second game on the second day here at Windmill Windup. This is the final round of the Swiss draw, and it promises to be a screamer between two undefeated sides. CUSB Fotta from Bologna, Italy, going up against FUJ Frisbee Ultimate Junta from Prague in the Czech Republic. It is my distinct pleasure to be Lorca Murray, and an even greater one to be joined by the inimitable Liam Grant. How are you feeling this morning, Liam?
I'm feeling like it's day two for me. I'm feeling some day two vibes here Saturday morning, but again, energy levels up. And I'm starting to feel some kind of tectonic plates shifting beneath me as magma starts flowing as the Lorcano has arrived at Windmill.
Time to build myself an island, and we can habitat it. What a great place to watch this game from. What are you expecting to see out of CUSB Fotta?
I'm really excited to see this team play. They were not at Windmill last year, so this is they had a break off and played with some Pelt boys. But I guess I want to see how their pickups per se are blending with this team. Had a huge victory against Clapham yesterday, 15-10. I think they're the only undefeated team in the Open Division. Had a universe point win against Chevron as well. So right now, kind of leading the pack.
As you mentioned that they had a universe point victory over Chevron, that is somewhere where FUJ are actually in the same boat as them. Another universe point victory, again, over Chevron. Tough day for Chevron yesterday, obviously. FUJ are actually undefeated, carrying victories over Cocktail, as well as Chevron.
You got me, Lorcan. Tolly knew everything.
You know, sometimes you just need a little bit of help. It is the second day after all, and I just showed up. So these two teams are going to be battling it out to try and take the dominant position going into the quarterfinals. And we start things off with CUSB Fotta on offense and standing in the middle of it, Laffy. So integral to everything they do, and they're just being nice and patient as FUJ just playing a little bit off them and getting the D straight away, and it's the young man, number 89, Matej Vilamek, one of the junior players recently brought up to this FUJ side.
Yeah, some of the Bologna teams still sleeping there, haven't quite got out of their tent on that first throw with a kind of passive zone, and just, a chance to break right off the bat.
So an uncharacteristic error, but it is matched in return by a little bit of a throwaway by Prasak.
Possibly quite characteristic given the opening points, so we'll see how they go.
Hopefully they are not starting as they mean to continue. It's a little bit of jitters and now trying to settle things down. CUSB Fotta going in the opposite direction. Laffy once again with the disc in the middle of the pitch. Plays it to Kopi on the far sideline and back into the middle. As now it rests in the hands of Francini. Back to Laffy. And we know CUSB Fotta are so quick, so I'm surprised to not see any of these handlers really following their throws. Laffy now starting to involve themselves in the front teeth of that zone, trying to move around it, doing so beautifully, hugging the sideline. Pavan with the disc, plays it down, and now CUSB are starting to really flow. But a miscommunication, Liam.
Yeah, a big dam in the flowing river right there as he throws that huck a little too low. I think it was quite on, but just didn't throw it over the receiver.
Now once again, the young man, Vilamek, with the disc. He's already showed up to get 1D, and now let's see how he copes with the pressure that CUSB are able to put on defensively. And searching for it, the man who got the Ds, Vatosh, plays it to the sideline. To the slightly less enamored man who got the turnover, Prasak. And he goes for a big, airy throw. It's going to be competed for. No, it is not. Towing the back line. Is he in? And great spirit on display as Francini calls him in. Fantastic score by Slatic.
Oh my word, I really thought that one was going to be at the back, almost landing in a tent there. But great goal, really led him into the back corner as you watch this replay, arcing in. Prasak to Slatic, getting a great goal, and he should just go into tent there. Take a little nap for yourself, have a rest.
So one of the question marks coming into this game was, we know CUSB have got fantastic young players. Can FUJ match that youth and exuberance with some kind of skill coming up from their junior ranks? So on this FUJ side, 3 junior players coming up and making their major tournament debuts in effect. Votruba, number 99, and then Vilamek, the man who would get the D, and Slatic, the man who would get the score. So certainly they seem unfazed right now, Liam.
Yeah, this team, unfortunate not to make the semis last year, lost to Pelt in Universe Point on this exact field. So I had them pretty high in my prediction contest FUJ, so no surprise they're doing really well. But maybe even better than everyone was thinking. I think we thought they'd be a quarters team, but looking like they could be a semi or a finals team the way they're playing.
They're coming into the quarters qualifiers, potentially if they win this game, as the highest ranked team. Seed first.
Yeah, can't get much higher than that.
So now, CUSB with a chance to hold. They gave up a break on the opening point. I don't think many people at home would have been expecting that as Kopi. A man so reliable at all times, just calm, in control. Depar plays it down the line. I'm waiting for it. We were talking about these pickups earlier on. Sang one of them. How well can they gel into this CUSB side? As they keep moving, CUSB really focused on that open side, getting back into middle to Laffy, and now they're starting to hit the brakes. Waiting for it, eventually getting it to Depar. Depar looking for options. Laffy can't get free from him. Kopi's there, but he's already looked away. The stall count getting higher ever still, but Sang able to release the pressure. Depar sprints across in front of him. Sang instead opts to go back to Kopi. That safety valve always there, and a beautiful break, but that one was a little bit too ambitious, and stepping in for the D, Prasak.
Kopi, usually the reliable handler for this team, one of the more experienced, and has 2 turns already. Not expecting the pace coming out from FUJ. He has to give his receiver more opportunity than that, and another chance to break for FUJ.
So Peter Hike walking to the disc, and immediately a cut appears in the form once again of the tireless Villamek, who's having a fantastic opening section. Hike once again back in the middle of the pitch. No dump handler back to support him. Just looking to play off the front of that stack. Does so. Prasak so integral to what the D-line is doing so far, it seems. He's got their first assist, thinking about their second one, but instead sends it under. Now looking to get it back in the middle of the pitch. Has a bit of a dump option, but you can see, Liam, the way the dump handlers are just abandoning the man with the disc to himself.
I like it, I like it. Throw downfield, why throw backwards? And then eventually a cut will come if they need it downfield, but yeah, just happy to trust someone to get free downfield.
And then that front to stack, it's a lot of pressure to be bouncing back and forth to have to release a valve, but it seems like these players are all equal to it. Once again, Sladek with the disc. When Prasek shoots to the end zone, there's potential for the T. And that's why you can't put it up against this athletic CUSB Fotta side. Mitterer getting the block.
Yeah, Mitterer, an Australian man. Not Australian, Austrian man, should I say.
Travelled an awfully long way to play with the Italians.
Yeah. That Austrian Fotta connection staying true. I think he's one of 2 Austrians. I think Catch Up Grass, if I'm correct, is Mitterer, who are not going to Worlds, so decided to hop on this Italian roster.
And there's plenty of reasons why you'd want to do that. Sang, another pickup, laces that one downfield. Mitterer with the disc, looking for options and sees one in the sprinting form of Hermitslev. Hermitslev has been fantastic for them at Tom's and seems to be continuing that trend. That's a sweet throw to Gasparini.
Yeah, the FUJ defense is standing still. That happened so fast. They got dazzled in the high head beams of this Bologna offense. Quick turnaround, and that's what we like to see more of that.
FUJ were doing a very good job of really clogging the unders for CUSB on the initial possession. Get the turn, can't convert, and then Sang completely destroys that defense when he gets a second look at it with a huge blade to open it up. And then it was just down the pitch, easy as you like.
Yeah, I see Sang being a dominant force on this Bologna O-line. Yet to see Davide More,
which one would have to say is an anomaly, although it's been pure O-line so far for CUSB. This is their first D-line. Stepping out there, we see the talismanic forms of Davide More, Geppetto Santucci, the electric talent of Luca Tonetti. There's an awful lot of skill and athleticism on this D-line. Let's see if FUJ's O-line are able to match it.
Sad not to be seeing FUJ in Cincinnati this year. Clearly capable of competing at that level, but putting their name on the center stage here in Amsterdam.
They've had quite a promising season so far as well. Very good showings in all their previous occurrences. And a real contender for EUCF when you start to see how they're playing, especially when they don't have the distraction or the physical detraction of having to play in that Worlds tournament. But let's see how they deal with the pressure of a Worlds-bound team doing everything they can to shut down their offense. FUJ like to try and play in this side stack or to at least try and set up the pitch into two sides, a cold side and a hot side, and isolate cutters in the hot side. We can see here they're trying to generate space for each other. Swinging it around. Still waiting for somebody to get free. Hrosho. In the end, he's forced to float one up, and there's a lot of potential for a D, but the large, looming form of number 96, Stetka.
Yeah, Stetka just uses his body to shield the disc there. The Italian man right on his heels, but just couldn't get an angle to attack the disc, and that one's lasered to the end zone.
Fantastic throw from Nemecek, out of his hands and straight into the waiting arms of his receiver. A beautiful score. And we saw Copy turn over in that exact same position, going for that exact same throw. So FUJ showing they are well able to play with this Fotta side.
Yeah, those little inside windows don't stay open for long. You got the bullet one while it's ajar, and he just squeezes it through. You can hear the ping off that disc even in the replay. That was cutting through the air.
Reverberating all around us as Hrosho gets the score. So what do you make of what we've seen from FUJ so far in this game, this nice Saturday morning? They are certainly awake.
Yeah, you can see they want to get their deep game off. And Bologna have been doing well to shut down some options, but that's how they like to play. Super aggressive, dominant cuts downfield. Try going deep. They want to go deep, and you have to take that away, and then they'll come under, but they're always looking to exploit that deep space. And if they can just make the right decisions, they have free receivers. I know there's a huge amount of pressure on the dumps, etc. Not that they set up any, but they seem to be able to get off swings laterally across the field. So just need to wait for that opportune moment to hit the end zone.
Be a difficult thing if you are going to go with that lone handler back. It does lead to clogging downfield. So now let's see, once again going with an arrowhead zone. But it seems the CUSB are starting to alter their offense ever so slightly so they can generate a bit more space. Laffy with the disc, plays it along and looking very comfortable. Seng pops it immediately into the middle in the waiting hands of Gasparini. Plays it down to Tepar, and Tepar gets a little pop in himself, and my God, like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, Bologna have found their flow now. Perhaps just a little bit sleepy after a couple of pints last night in the Iggy tent, but have settled into this game now, and that's the offense we're expecting from them, considering how well they've played all weekend so far.
It was a little bit anomalous, the turnovers, the mistakes they were making, and that crust has definitely been swept from the eye, but still need to get themselves a break. Starting the game on offense. So now FUJ hoping to carry this through to the half and cash in that opening point.
Now we see the Italian stallion, Davide Mori.
When was the last time he waited until the 5th point of a game to make his appearance?
Who knows? I can't think. Probably an important one, I'm sure. I think he would have been a great weapon for them yesterday. It was quite windy, and the man knows how to throw through the wind. He's got some guns on him.
And he certainly knows how to fire them. That another example. The wind light and blustery ever so slightly from left to right on your screens, as here come FUJ with it at their back and hoping to fill their sails, carrying them into the quarterfinals. An advantageous position. There's that deep opportunity, but they decide to holster it. Somewhat surprising. Novak instead opting for the dump. This guy's Captain Peluche going up the line, but cannot hit him. It sinks it back to Hrosho, and Peluche continues the dump cut, coming back into the open side. Still trying to isolate someone. Goes for a big shot. It's staying low the whole time, blading. And it looked absolutely perfect, but unfortunately Novak couldn't get under it.
I think it might have been perfect. I think that was a great throw, and maybe a little upset with that fumble outside the end zone.
As now we have a little bit of a hold. And you saw how quickly CUSB's D-line wanted to just strike, not let FUJ settle. A little bit of conversation downfield happening between Santucci and Zomka. So Mori with the disc, and he can do pretty much whatever he wants with it. And on a whim, he seems to be focused entirely on the dump, eventually able to get it back. Gasol swings it around, Trombetti back in the middle to Mori. And those are those backhands that he is, like a surgeon, been cutting apart European defenses with for years at this point. Taylor. Smooth as you like, Trombetti. Has Mori in the front of him, hits him as you would. And that one just a little bit too quick to Santucci, and he wasn't quite prepared to wrap his fingers around the disc.
Yeah, Giovanni Santucci, better known as Chapo to his friends. And that one, Davide trying to be a little too cute, get it off fast. He wasn't quite ready. He had to really lean out for it and a turn, which was a great break opportunity. But this one's going deep.
And hanging underneath it, it's absolutely fantastic in the battle. So, 3-2 and a hold. A rather comfortable one. Again, here we just see fakes the hammer and moves Mori away from him. And what a tasty little dish.
Yeah, a lot of I/O on that backhand to bend it around Giovanni.
Hrosho getting the score. So, FUJ get the break in the opening point. Have held since. Have had one turn the CUSB were not able to capitalize on. Have gotten a significant number more turns from the CUSB line, although lately CUSB have been looking fluid. Scintillating, seductive, like the Italian stallions that they are. Middle of the pitch, Francini. Goes for the blade, it's scooping around and was always heading towards the dirt. Not a whole lot Mitterrand could do about that.
Yeah, the man is athletic, but you can't just throw it in the dirt and expect him to get it.
I mean, there's people who can defy gravity, but completely oppose it, not so much. As now FUJ, middle of the pitch. Immediately, the swing all the way around the waiting hands of Svatos. Svatos again, you can see that front of stack, just waiting for the eye contact, and then it's a straight cut one direction. Beautifully done. Reich. All the way back to Svatos. And now he thinks about the hammer. They love faking those hammers, but they haven't put any of them up yet. Hopefully they'll have to go to work soon, as I love an overhead. Again, another hammer fake. And they go for the real one, but there's a touch on that. Maybe a touch too much. Svatos with the disc, front of the end zone. Tapar marking him, and there's a backhand rather than a hammer. And unfortunately, a little bit too much of a distraction from Prasak, trying to toe the line and bring in the disc.
Yeah, he did toe the line, but you got to catch the disc as well.
See, that's the integral part. A lot of people catch the disc, don't toe the line. He made the rare inverted mistake as Kopi thinks about the deep shot and goes for it on second, asking. FUJ's defender falls down, and surely this is going to be calmly reeved in by Pavin. A fantastic, fantastic young talent from the youth program, although that time not really having to delve deep into his bag of athletic tricks.
No, yeah, the FUJ player deciding to lie down on the ground before that one went up, which was not the greatest idea from Simsa.
Yes, it's not one of the more well-worn stratagems, and it certainly didn't work out this time for him. But sometimes deception is key. As we know, FUJ achieved a lot of their success yesterday using zones, disguising those kinds of options. Oh, it's a lot calmer. I hear it was a lot windier yesterday.
It was a lot windier, colder, miserably-er.
Well, you see, you were missing me. And everywhere I go, I bring the weather with me, and the weather is slightly tepid.
We weren't missing you. It's
oh, Liam Grant coming straight in there like a knife in between my ribs. I had to sit in my office, listening to you guys have all this fun.
Did it sound fun? Well, it looked fun.
It certainly looked fun. I wasn't really able to listen to it too much. Plus, I figured if I just watched it with the sound off, I wasn't missing much. Yes, as you see once again, Santucci trying to blame everybody else for his mistakes except himself. And
yeah, it looks like he's been benched for probably the entire game.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, Geppetto's a good player, but he was definitely making a couple of uncharacteristic errors. His FUJ are going to walk this one all the way up. CUSB making it a little bit easy for the Czechs. And starting it off, looking to get the disc going. Blaha immediately sweeps it into the middle of the pitch. Nop. And they're really starting to look comfortable. Zomka. And just as I say it, I curse them. Novak unable to bring that one in. So now a chance for CUSB to get the disc back and get this break. Pavin. Oh, sorry, Tonetti. Plays it down the line. Taylor back into the middle. Tonetti again, and they are starting to get that lightning quick CUSB offense rolling. Smooth, Tonetti in the middle. Pirouettes like a ballerina. Once again now rests Franceschi. And Tonetti, who's been just about everywhere except the end zone in this point. And I'm sure he's got his eyes on that particular target. Nice dump defense, but able to escape the clutches in the end. Crafty, and this just again goes to show how well these CUSB players know each other. They have lived together, breathed together, learned together. And it is coming to the fore now. So relaxed despite the claustrophobic pressures. They just keep working. Eventually the shot to Mittler for the score.
Great patience there from Bologna. Had some face-marking defenders in the backfield. Had to throw people open and did it fantastically.
Fiorentino getting the score. A brilliant assist from Bruno Mine. And just like you say, with this face marking, moving them around and then just relying on their throwers. Something I've always been impressed with the CUSB players, the fact that everybody on every line seems to be able to throw at least a half pitch length leading pass and a good break. And it just makes them so lethal. So that is the break back. CUSB regain the lead, 4-3. That puts them on serve where they started this game, but with plenty more match left to play. How will FUJ respond?
Yeah, we haven't seen too many huge defensive plays. It's more been drops in the bread basket, so it's more which team is settling more. FUJ needs to put this Bologna team under more pressure, I think, physically. These guys as hard as uncooked pasta.
Something I really liked about their opening points was the clogging they were able to do in the short field and trying to shut that down. But we saw the likes of Tonetti there just destroy it by following his throws. Like you said, they weren't quite awake in those initial exchanges, and as a result, they weren't really as active as they needed to be. I think they've started to find that in themselves. So CUSB are certainly a train that is ever gaining speed. And how will FUJ try to bring it to a stop? Waiting under the disc. And starting things off. Thinking about a deep shot straight away and going for it. The captain underneath it, Palush, but can't get there in time. That disc was always trailing away. Geppetto Santucci.
That was actually a zipper play from FUJ.
And what a zipper play in return. That is surely going to be called out of bounds. He jumped from out of bounds back in.
I think that's what happened. He did land in bounds, but I think he jumped from an out of bounds position.
So that is Trombetti. That was an absolutely fantastic run through D by FUJ. As you can see them all now just illustrating to the Italian. Hopping back inbounds. That's what we were doing. That's how you do it.
A man wearing jeans getting involved.
That's when you know things are starting to go downhill. When somebody who is wearing actual trousers.
Never trust a man with trousers.
That's what my mother always used to say.
Unfortunately, she's not here to help us with this decision, though.
No, probably at home, yelling at the screen, as all good Irish countrywomen do for all sports. So, FUJ, thanks to a fantastic defensive effort, immediately stamp out CUSB's chance for a break, looking for the hold, looking to tie things back up. Palush, the initial target for the turned over Huck, walks to the disc, the captain, waiting, bouncing, back and forth in the balls of his feet. Thought he was going for one break, turns out he was going for a different one, and Blaha on the upcut gets the score.
Squeeze it into that little wee hole there. Not much room, but that's where they like to jam it in.
Aye, he was really squeaking that one through some closing doors. Honestly, I don't think he saw Blaha, or I'm not sure if he was trying to hit him. It was a narrow corridor, but that was the body that filled it. So a little bit shaky. I always get a little bit nervous when a player picks up the disc and doesn't look dump at all, especially when that player is your captain. But I would also get nervous I would see a handler left on their own, so FUJ clearly able to play in what would be nerve-wracking situations for myself anyway.
Just as well we had a man with trousers earlier to solve that call. Unfortunate for Bologna, got a good turn and had a chance for a break and never really got an opportunity to play.
Almost seemed like they were hampered by their desire to get the play going as quickly as possible. They immediately picked it up and rushed themselves. So FUJ sending out a D-line. Not afraid to mix it up. Again, we see some of those young faces out there as the ball comes sailing out of the hands of Svatoš. And underneath it, where he always is, Laffy. Kopi leading the offense. Sang. Back to Kopi. There's Laffy around him, and this is a bit of a return to form in terms of the Arrowhead defense, but CUSB once again shredding it with one good throw and then lots of quick movement, and that is one hell of a throw from Tepar. just gets over the outstretched fingertips of the defender for the score.
That was a magnificent, but yet very spicy throw.
Very spicy. It's like a well-done curry. I mean, it's tasty, but I mean, a little bit more and that would have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to order that one again.
No, that's risky business, as we say.
We all enjoyed it, but we need a little less spice next time.
Maybe if we could have like a cool glass of milk and some yogurt for your next offensive point, that would be much obliged.
Definitely had the mismatch, had to curve it around his receiver.
I love those dishes from CUSB. They're so good at them. And then Depart goes, no, you know what? Let's not be conservative. Let's just absolutely lash this. I'm sure FUJ felt the air of the disc brush across his cuticles. I always find when somebody falls down after jumping, like up, they were really trying to jump up. So now, CUSB hold, just about. 5-4. But it has been a tight game with little to separate them.
Yeah, and the big difference is, I guess, the jerseys. Which jersey do you prefer, Lorcan? We're talking about fashionals coming up in a few weeks' time. Yogo Bonito's favorites there, but what's your favorite jersey here?
It's a tough one. I love the CUSB for how creative it is, the sublimation, the cool black and gray, but I like the history and the story behind the elephant logos for FUJ. They were looking to take a step up to the elite level of European Ultimate as Peluche plays it down the line. Novak sends it back into the middle. Waiting there for him, Rosho, who's doing such great things all game long. And that's another beautiful break and smooth end zone drill for the score.
Yeah, Taylor incredibly active on the mark there. Maybe he shut down the breakthrough 2 or 3 times, but constantly faking, pivoting, and just getting it off.
So just to return to what I was saying, with the FUJ's design, the fact that it's an elephant and not that weird kind of creepy face thing that they have as their actual logo, the elephant comes from Elephant Discs, which was another club team based just outside of Prague who had a smaller player base, but a certain selection of them wanted to play elite level Ultimate. FUJ was trying to make that leap, and they contacted them. They said, we can come together, we can take that next step up, we can put ourselves into the top 8 of Europe, we can start contesting for EUCF titles. And as a little homage to the Elephants, they adopted their logo, though not their name, in the FUJ style on their jerseys. And I really love the way that they're, you know, that history, that respect and camaraderie that they're showing between the two clubs. And I love the fact that it seems to have really been a success for FUJ.
I think it's mostly down to the elephant on their jersey.
Mostly down to that's the elephant on the pitch, really.
Yes, it's the tusks getting on the people. Would you say it is an African or Indian elephant?
Oh, I would say based on the ear size that it's definitely an Indian elephant. My zoological knowledge coming to the fore. Always useful when you're watching these wild Italians play their swashbuckling brand of offense. Roaming fierce down the field, and they're just making it look so easy. Large gaps and accurate throws, shredding this FUJ defense. Although, you know, Hermanslav, he's not opposed to laying out. That's a comfortable pass when you've got a receiver that consistent, that reliable. Kopi, you want to talk about consistent or reliable, he may have 2 turnovers, but I'm sure he's not thinking about them. And a lovely little dish. I believe that was Laffy to Hermanslav for the score.
In the flat pass to the front of the stack. Not really a break, but it does allow the next person to hit that break throw quite easily, so good work there.
And we'll see it again. This is Hermanslav with the disc. That is just such a tall order to try and mark. He was phenomenal for them at Tom's, their best cutter. Kopi straight down the line, and then a beautiful little pop. I think I gave too much credit to Laffy. I believe it was actually Gasparini with it. But the point remains the same. Every single one of these CUSB players was tutored by Davide Mori, so they all have that Davide dish, the little backhand that he serves up so eloquently. So CUSB really haven't looked rattled the last few points on offense. Certainly not to me anyway, Liam.
No, they've definitely settled into this game. Bit snoozy there the first 2 points, but snooze button's been turned off now. They're wide awake. Looking to score in this downwind break.
The wind ever so slightly turning somewhat, a little bit more in our face. But still very much a left to right. Upwind, downwind. FUJ hoping to keep it close. 6-5. Palush. Hand raised. Here comes the pull.
Oh, that was amazing. That was around the Lamson Stadium. Very dangerous. If that had not come back in, it would have been way off the field, but that was really cool. Bit of spice.
I mean, that's what you want to wake you up in the morning, as the offense for FUJ has been quite comfortable. Playing it down the pitch. Novak. And they're using this isolation, trying to have that hot side. They're constantly focused on it. Palush gives an option for the swing. And they go all the way around to the opposite end. Stetka back into middle to Palush. The pick is called. And we're back in. Palush looking for options, takes the easy and available one that's directly in front of him. Playing it down the line, they're just staying to this open side for now. Trying to get those breaks off. Stetka couldn't get there, Palush does. Again, he's a little bit alone, fakes the hammer, goes to the inside, flick, break. And Ridlow has been really making himself available.
Yeah, he's been hitting those inside flicks. Their main handler, he's left in no man's land, but that's fine. It gives him so much space to throw to that break side. He pretty much gets it off every time, as you see another one.
Ridlow, another fantastic inside break. Nemecek with the disc. Now he has Palush. And that one just about comes off. It was always bobbling and it bounces out of Palush's hands. Cantu is streaking downfield and immediately the disc goes up, but there is some kind of call. Although somebody needs to tell Cantu because he is celebrating down in that end zone.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here. I think Palush dropped it there and was almost apologizing and forgot to mark his man who tore off the end zone, left him unmarked. Don't know what's happening here. I don't know what this called, if it affected play.
They're just going to talk a little bit about it.
I think it's going to be a goal. And it should be a goal. That's exactly what should have happened.
Fantastic throw from Galarota. You saw as soon as Palush dropped that disc, the streaking form of Ivan Cantu tearing towards the opposition's end zone. And realizing it before anyone else, Galarota just sprinted over and lashes him the disc. That quick fire cusp turn offense. We've seen it be a bit of a hindrance so far, but now so deadly.
Yeah, FUJ maybe just losing their cool after that one and leaves the Italian man all by himself. Won't get an easier goal than that all weekend.
That's just how deadly Fotta can be. We always talk about their speed, but it's just something else. Literally and figuratively separating them from the rest of their European opposition.
I know you and Ravi have your picks for this competition, Lorcan. How are they going so far in terms of...
Well, I've CUSB to win the whole thing. And I got to tell you, beating Clapham 15-10 doesn't really fill me with confidence because I don't think you're beating Clapham twice in one weekend.
Yeah, maybe it was a bad move. They should have thrown that game.
You know, maybe at like 14-10, you pretend you're flubbing your lines. You let them get back like 14-13, 14-14, you win.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're going to have to go up against them again. It was a brilliant performance by CUSB, but they're going to need to play better than that, I think, if they want to beat them a second time.
Did you have French Team Shaq in the top 4?
I did have the French Team Shaq in the top 4.
Yeah, they'll be lucky to make the top 16.
They'll be very lucky to make the top 16. A 15-6 loss to Ranelagh yesterday is a difficult mark to wash out in the Swiss draw. I mean, it is a glorious but cruel, strict algorithm. As here come FUJ, trying to bring back a bit of strictness into their offense. Reset themselves, relax, isolate some cutters. And also, you know, have a nice little chat to the charming Italians.
And I believe this is the last game in the Swiss draw format for the open and women's divisions. So I think both these teams are likely to be guaranteed a quarterfinal. It's just more who they'll get.
So you can see some downfield switching from CUSB, but good recognition by FUJ, not going for the seemingly open deep shot, instead taking the actually open under. Well done, Rocho, marshalling his troops. And this time they launched that one over, but it was always way too low. Taylor happy to just jump up and get it. As here comes the lightning quick CUSB D-line offense, sprinting in the opposite direction. Bruno Mine likes what he sees when it's the tall man Edmond underneath it. But huge defensive effort. 2 FUJ players streaking down the pitch. And I believe it was Ridlow who got the crucial touch. As we have another look at that one.
Yeah, peeling off the back of the stack. Great recognition of the deep shot coming, helping out his teammate, and I think that's what stopped it. Had it been just one man there, he might have been able to box him out, but with 2 players there, you can sandwich him like they did, and they gave him no shot at catching that.
Palouche immediately launches one of his own, and they're looking to restart this battle. That was so close to being fantastic, but unfortunately, it's just going to have to go into the not so entertaining pile.
Yeah, boxed well, got up well, got his hand to the disc. Probably did the hardest thing, just needs to hold on to the disc, and that's what he didn't do.
Just coming in very fast. David Moore, he's going to have to lay out, and he does. Grinding up dirt. And
is that a timeout call?
I believe it is. This is the break to take them to half.
I wonder what stage in the layout did they call timeout there. Not actually making the T symbol with the disc, but or perhaps he did if we look at slow-mo. Maybe it was a layout in one hand and just does it on the...
He's so smooth, so he very well could have. I imagine what happened there was he saw the throw and he was like, I'm going to have to lay out to get this. I'm going to call the timeout because clearly these throws aren't accurate enough and I am not satisfied.
I think David is quite old now. That would have taken him maybe 3-4 seconds to get up, and that's just...
Oh, better call a timeout.
Yeah.
Don't want to be stall 5 when I look up here. Old bones rattling.
Yeah.
He's still got cartilage left to give, and my God, we know he's going to give it.
Yeah. Bones rattling like uncooked spaghetti. That is my second uncooked spaghetti reference in this game.
Well, I think it's very apt. I mean, thematically congruent with the teams that we're watching. Do you know anything about Czech cuisine?
Yeah.
Excellent. So, so 2 undefeated teams. The first half coming to a potentially ominous end as FUJ look down the barrel of a 3-point deficit with CUSB coming out on offense at the start of the second half. They got a shot in early, Liam. And ever since then, they've just been taking a little bit of a beating. What adjustments would you like to see them make?
They just looked a bit rattled, you know what I mean? In the first point, their chin's up, playing with some confidence, and now just a little bit rattled. And maybe that's the experience of, you know, Bologna, when they went down, they never looked like scared, and they continue to play the way they want to play, while FUJ, when things aren't going their way, they seem frustrated. That last call earlier where a man was left completely free in the end zone, you could see them, they're kind of humming and hawing and puffing there. They were getting annoyed at each other. So they just need to get their mental game right, because I've played against them. I know they're really good, and they can play better than they have in the last 2-3 points. And this is an opportunity for Bologna to break for half, which would be huge.
I do think we've seen a little bit more Ds creeping into the game. Like you said, it was almost exclusively turnovers before this. But like you say, it's a matter of confidence. Right now, it's a matter of attitude and determination to try and limit the expansive, explosive offense of these Italians with one of the best throwers Europe has ever produced on the disc. Also one of the most volatile. So you never really know what you're going to get. You just know it's going to look pretty. As Davide Mori thinks about the flick hook. Thinks about the flick hook some more. Goes with the flick under to the sprinting former Bruno Mine. Wants the backhand break. Cut's not there immediately for him. Instead he looks back. Waiting for him eagerly. Tonetti pops it back into the middle. You can just see the youth. I don't think that Galarota has ever shaved in his life. So now he looks for the disc, and that is a flick break that was always blading in the wrong direction, but Mine's able to get on top of it. And they continue to work it down the pitch. Bit better from FUJ, bit more limiting. As soon as I say that, it's another flick break, a beautiful dish all the way out there and comfortably taken in by Thomas Edmund.
A few collisions in that point. I think right off the timeout, the Bologna cutting was a little off timing, and they just had to, but it shows their patience to just swing with their handlers, and then the cutters got a bit more flow and they banged it in, and that is a goal for a half.
Oh, it is actually 8-5. They take half with a very impressive 3-point run. We have another look at this here, and it's all that flick break, just working the break side. Acute angles, never too much of a throw, and then, like I was saying earlier, every single player, I mean especially Tonetti, who's a fantastic thrower, but every single player on this CUSB side can put a half pitch length leading pass, which means every single player on this CUSB side can make that cut in expectation of the throw.
Yeah, wise moves from Mori there, calling the timeout. He knew this was the point to take off, and there'd be a big momentum swing. Go into half with a 3-point lead. They started an offense, if I'm not mistaken, actually got broken the first point, so they're trying to get that back, knowing that it'll be coming out on defense now. So good to score it on a break.
So now, correcting their earlier misstep, and looking very comfortable doing so.
The man in the pants, talking to them in the center of the circle, perhaps telling them where they can get pants.
I have always wondered, like, where do you get pants? Because when winter rolls around, my ankles get very cold.
Pennies. We all get our pants in pennies, right?
Well,
H&M do some great jeans, actually, at the moment.
Really? Oh, isn't
Yeah.
that nice? I work in fashion. I should probably know that.
Are you going to Fashionals 2018?
Unfortunately, I am unable to make it to Fashionals 2018, which is it's a real stick in my mud, if you know what I mean, Liam.
Jogo Bonito, hot favorites to come away with Fashionals. Clothing brand first, Ultimate Team second.
Well, that's always good to hear, because, you know, you hate to see a team come all the way over here for nothing. So we all want to make sure we send everybody home as some kind of a winner. There was a 5 team that showed up here a few years ago, did very well for themselves. Jogo Bonito maybe trying to sneak into that territory. 5 Europe has cleared out, the European market wide open.
And we say 5, we're not talking about the 90s British pop band. We are in
Oh, no, I am. Yeah. Baby, when the lights go out.
5, we're about to get down now.
Keep on moving. Everybody get up, singing. 1,
1, 2,
3, 14. And this halftime show brought to you by Jogo Bonito Clothing Wear. Yes, you've never heard of us, but you'll get to see us soon. Jogo Bonito. We definitely didn't make it up.
You can buy the clothes on the dark web.
You can buy lots of things on the dark web. You can hire an assassin, and then hire another assassin to kill that assassin.
And hire an assassin to order you clothes on the dark web.
That's a lesser-known utilization of assassins, basically just as digital butlers. Because they'll do it. It's a lot less hassle for them. It's pricey, though. It's pricey. I mean, if you're going to hire an assassin, you might as well get them to kill somebody as well. And
they're basically delivery drivers, glorified.
They're glorified delivery drivers if delivery delivered bullets and general misery. Which, you know, depending on where you're ordering from, they can. So now, CUSB looking to deliver themselves into pole position for the quarterfinals, and FUJ praying they can do everything to stop them. Palouche plays it down the line. And Ridlow, and those are 2 men who are not afraid of this moment. Thorosho. Palouche, really the most exhilarating play so far. Could certainly be a galvanizing one.
And here's something we haven't seen in a while. It's the Bologna O-line.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they had one of those. First appearance here in the second half. 9-6 the score. FUJ haven't gotten a break since the first point of the game. And I'm sure that's a trend that CUSB want to keep. Sang thinks about launching it deep. Now looking for options. Saying no to the incredibly free man directly in front of him. I mean, if you're going to do that, you want Tapar.
A little taste of Canada.
I haven't really seen too many of them thrown, and it's a little tantalizing as Sang just an effortless high release backhand. Jesus.
Yeah, Bruno milking that one like a little dairy cow into the end zone. Had plenty of time. Took a few breaths, gathered it up, and yeah, gets a goal on the D-line. Or I was going to say the O-line.
I suppose that's that glass of milk we were talking about earlier on. Milking it for all it was worth. Beautiful play. And Sang got that off so quickly. He went from catching the disc to releasing the disc in less time than it took me to realize he'd caught the disc. He was like a tunnel that don't involve blades. So that's why very crisp throws and that urge to just stab the FUJ guys in the chest a little bit. Friendly bumps.
Yeah, FUJ looking to stop the bleeding now.
9-5 down.
I think it's 10-6 now.
Yeah, you're right. It is 10-6. I apologize, but let's see if FUJ are able to get their offense get back into that position. They're still quite far away from that run of breaks in the first half. Peluche with the disc. Stetka in the dump position. We're not seeing so much of that 1-6 anymore.
Yeah, Bologna doing very well in this game, despite Davide Mori being influencing them. As he comes near earshot of me and I want to make fun of him.
Which is fair enough, as he is a figure for ridicule. As all magnanimous people are. Ridlo gets in the middle to Peluche. Peluche down the sideline. Croscio plays it right in the middle to Ridlo again. And how many times are those names ringing out from our mouths? And beautiful faking, huge layout bid, but Geppetto comes up empty. And that is a score for Novak.
And that's the Chapo we really know and love. That was the first good 0 point from FUJ in quite some time. Not a vagrant huck, very much a slow, steady offense.
Lots of cutting, lots of generating space, using that hot side, which was a focus for them coming into it. I liked how they were bouncing it back and forth a little bit there. Excellent stuff from Ridlo, who has been all over the place for FUJ in this game. But it's good to see them get the offensive hold, but they were still getting the offensive holds. They were shaky and they're solidifying them. But they need to get the turns. They need to get the breaks. Are you sure, Davide? It's weird to break up with somebody over a live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hate to say this to Sophia, but Davide says it's done, it's over. If you're not watching
finito. Is that Italian, finito? I think that's what he said anyway. So I don't know. So that seems callous to me, Sophia.
He says he's changed his phone number.
Yeah,
and he wants his records back. He's moving out. He's gone.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Sophia.
If you could put the stuff in a box.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope our humor translates into Italian.
In a weird, sick fashion, I hope it doesn't.
Well, you know, Sophia's available out here. So now, CUSB on offense, going in the opposite direction. Pavan, no hesitation, but maybe the youth could do with some as he throws that one away. Hermitslav was not making the cut. He initially thought he was. It's now FUJ looking to cash in this break, and they really have to. They got one in the first half, and it was right at the start. Do you think they can do it, Liam?
No, it's my my genuine
That's
answer.
why we love Liam, you know, he's just honest about stuff.
I'd like if they try really hard.
Well, that's all we can ever ask of somebody is to try really hard, and that's what they're doing. Hermitslav, I thought he would bid on that one, but Prasak's able to just take his time, take it down. Working his little bum off. Svatoš gets under it, showing no signs of that injury that took him off the pitch in the previous point. And a tasty little dish over the top. And Hermitslav goes bidding past the form of Prasak, who gets it back into the middle. And it's in the hands of the young man. Plays it down the line. And this is nice, comfortable stuff now. So we're starting to see FUJ really step into it. Prasak pops that one up. He's been doing that all game long to great effect. And Votruba, a man who we haven't talked about since early in the first half, shows up again. Two excellent receptions in that
I take it all back, Lorcan. I take it all back. FUJ are going to win this one. Never doubted them.
You have been saying it from the start of the game that the Elephants are going to win this game. They carry them forward.
I'm sure Herbie has their back anyway.
Maybe that's just what they're doing. Maybe they invented that whole other club from slightly outside of Prague. And they're really just trying to curry favor with the, well, I mean, how else would you really describe him, but a demagogue of Windmill windup, that is Herbie. I mean, he looks cute and fluffy, but that dude, do not cross Herbie. Do not cross Herbie.
A lesson for all our listeners there. Beware the Indian elephant.
Is Herbie Indian as well?
Yeah.
Well, it's, the more you know. Do you know how, you know what the difference between Indian and African elephants is?
Geography?
Yeah, it's about 5,000 miles. As now, launching it down the pitch, Prasak. But waiting underneath it, as he so consistently is, Laffy. Never phased. Always ready. In the middle of the pitch with Mine. And Tapar fakes it once, sends it to Sang, the Canadian connection. The Canucks with a beautiful throw. And then a tasty little pop in, finishing it off for the score. Wolfgang Mitterer.
Yeah, it was a little pickup point right there as we see the new additions to Bologna side combining for a great score. Tejpar putting the right amount of maple syrup on that one as it slid through the air.
Oh, that was sweet. That was delicious. One hell of a pancake. So we're starting to see these pickups not only play well with the core CUSB team, but also play very well with each other. We know Tejpar and Sang can play together. But Wolfgang Mitterer getting involved. This is an impressive CUSB outfit.
Yeah, just 1 hour into this game and quite a high scoreline, 11-8. So I can imagine we're going to get to the point cap before the time cap, as both these teams firing well so far.
So now we wait. There's FUJ starting to claw things back a little bit. If they get this hold, they'll only be 2 behind. Translate to 3 breaks. They are running out of time. So here comes CUSB. Themselves on the cusp of putting this game away. Palouche waiting underneath. Centers it immediately. Ridlow. Looking, waiting. Centers it to the middle of the pitch. In form of Novak. Back to Palouche, who immediately dishes it forward. Nice swift movement, Blaha. Into the middle. And the waiting hands of Zomka. Zomka, he has Palouche in front of him. Bit of float on that one, but the captain's able to get up and get it. Thinks about sending the flick break instead, takes the under. That is some fantastic hard work by Nemecek down the pitch. Still not looking dumped. That call has to be getting high. Very physical. You can see they're taking some lessons from the Canadians as Nemecek gives it, goes, gets it, and gives it again for the score. Blaha on the receiving end.
FUJ have found their flow. They're looking much better than earlier. A lot more calm, a bit more confidence, and they're banging in their own points. But perhaps 3 breaks is too much to ask for to win this game. But even if they can hold out this scoreline or maybe get 1 break back, that's gonna. It's still in Swiss draw formats. That's going to help them get a good seed going into quarters.
And that is what this match is all about. Securing yourself a strong seed. Depending on how it goes, I mean, you could set yourself up for a run to the final where they would see a repeat of this game. But I totally agree with you. FUJ's offense looks much more controlled, much more concentrated in these past few points. And they were able to get a break quite recently. So they've reduced the gap to 2. 11-9 isn't too daunting of a scoreline. Plenty of game left to play. It'd be nice to get a break right now, but it's not necessary. You let it carry on to 14-12, you're in trouble.
Yeah, the fate of Bologna are very much in their own hands. As long as they don't give up any breaks, they're going to win this game.
That's a huge pull. Plenty of float. FUJ stampeding their way down there. Francini, middle of the pitch. Physiotherapist showing off how supple he is, and that backhand. Beautiful to Pavan. Now on the sideline. Laffy goes up the line for him. Pavan obliges, but a beautiful layout D. Fantastic defensive effort from the young man, Andrei Votruba.
Momentum is fully swung in FUJ's direction. That was a hard-earned D. Bologna came out in a side stack to shut that down. It's a field-lit hammer, and it's a goal! That was sugar-coated to perfection.
Prasak, the man, getting the score. Magnificent hammer from FUJ. Exactly what they needed, exactly when they needed it. All started by that layout D. I apologize, it was Matej Vilemek who got the layout D. The up-the-line pass always looked a little bit late, and when you've got a young, hungry player like Vilemek, you know he's going to throw that body around.
62 minutes on the clock or something?
So FUJ tightening it up. Starting to loosen CUSB's grip on the game.
As we see the hammer again in the replay, that took some confidence and swagger. Straight picked up straight after the turn. He doesn't want any resets. He means business, this man. And we're in a 1-point game now.
I'm happy after 20 points of faking hammers, we actually got to see a hammer assist as well. Getting a little bit irksome waiting for it to happen. So now, CUSB must show their mettle. What is it made of? How will they react? Just being corrected there. Windmill, not Vatruba. Vatruba number 99, Windmill number 89. Both young players in Tejpar. Doesn't give a crap. He sends a deep one to Hermitslav. Collects it for the score. Comfortably done. And that's exactly what CUSB needed to come out and do.
Yeah, come out with a bit of experience and flow and just go like, yeah, lads, we can bang our 0 points. You got one off us there, but you're not going to get another one. That's the attitude they came out with there. And that was a very, very quick 0 point with very little pressure on them.
Very little pressure. But FUJ, since their O-line has come out, did get a break. Similar enough situation to last time. They're slowly clawing their way back in. Climbing that mountain. 1 pick at a time. So now, their offense has to come out here and keep up the pressure. Something that's been integral to FUJ being able to get their way back into this game is when the O-line was called upon, they just came out and scored with nice fluid offense and went, there's your little breather. You didn't have to stress. Go out there and get us a break. And the D-line responds after their break, gets one, gives up the next one, which is exactly how you fight your way back into a game.
Going into this game, the top 8 seeds had Clapham in 4th and Chevron in 5th. So I think Clapham were hoping to get up over FUJ somehow if we were to lose this game there to win, to try and avoid that quarterfinal. But I think FUJ will definitely want to try and keep their high seed. Even if they don't win this game, a loss on Universe points would mean very little as well.
CUSB have 2 wins on Universe point. FUJ have 1. They share Universe wins over Chevron, currently sitting in 5th. Napalush. This is nice resetting. He goes for the big shot to the end zone. And absolutely no one is anywhere in the vicinity of Novak. Almost in a different postcode to the CUSB defense. So quick and with space when he starts running. You're just not closing that gap.
Yeah, the second half of this game has been played at a much higher level, I think, than the first. Level we're expecting for these teams, showing that they are elite and are in contention for this title. Hopefully not too little too late for FUJ.
That was exactly what they needed coming out. A quick point, shoot it deep, comfortably done. Who else but the captain sets it up? And really, you've got to give a lot of credit to the cutting efforts from FUJ, especially Novak, who has been putting in a fantastic shift this game. He got that unbelievable grab over Frankeshi earlier on in the game. That was just a fantastic cut. That was matched with a brilliantly timed throw. So now FUJ, the last 2 times they found themselves in this situation, O-line goes out and gets a score. The D-line has come on and responded with a break. Can they keep that trend up? Can they tie this game at 12s? It's currently 12-11 to CUSB. Copy with the disc. FUJ with that arrowhead. Talking loudly. Always working. The CUSB are so good at just tearing these things apart. Laffy especially. So impressive. Captain of the silver medal team. And there's Tejpar underneath it. He goes up a bit too early. Some great defensive pressure. And if Svatosh had to come off earlier for an injury, he is not showing any residue of it now.
Tejpar disappointed himself he didn't get that one, but I don't think it was a great throw. It was very much a 50-50 disc. Similar in height and stature to his mark, and he was just swinging a hand, and it's very hard to catch it when the other person isn't trying to catch it. They're just getting a fingertip to it. So I'd say more the thrower's fault there.
So now Craig with the disc, and Laffy just bouncing around, trying to put him under pressure. Huge layout bid from Tejpar, trying to make up for his earlier mistake, but he can't. So now so active on the force. And you can see he's not getting physical, and there's fantastic defense from Sang. Poaching in, stealing it away. Laffy, Tejpar, and Sang. Operating as a triangle. Phil Jackson would be proud. And in the end, they all clear out, and Hermitslev comes in for the score.
Sang's got your back, Tejpar. He got your back. That was an amazing, just more awareness on the D. That wasn't his man. He's coming through the lane and just poached off at the last second to see what was coming through. Beautiful play.
Like a lion the way he swallowed that up. And then Tejpar. Maybe I won't score so much. I'll just take some assists.
Yeah, that's how you throw it to the end zone. Chest high and flat makes it a lot easier.
Maybe next time a bit more adventurous, you know, like Hermitslev will lay out.
Just 2 points away from cap now, Bologna.
13-11. So FUJ, there's only so many more offensive points they're going to get in this game. Let's see how they handle them. They've looked fantastic in these recent exchanges. Likes of Ridlow, Peluche have been integral.
Speaking of looking fantastic, what do you make of the new Windmill scoreboards?
I like them. Because if there's one thing I want my scoreboards to, you know, reflect, to really capture the spirit of, it's the signpost of a serial killer's house in the backwoods of Texas.
That is the vibe they're going for.
It's a real, like, turn back now, oh, you're out of gas, soon you'll be out of legs kind of signpost as Peluche collects that one. Let's see how many legs FUJ have left to give in this effort. Playing it down the line. Comfortably taken in, Slavka. And that's a beautiful sweeping throw. Hrosho to Ridlow. He's got the option deep, and he takes it immediately, kicking up dust as Namek. Oh, or Novak, sorry, underneath it. But yes, there is the travel. I saw that dust fly as soon as he released the disc.
Yeah, perhaps the dry soil in Amsterdam giving that one away.
So, Ridlow, you're going to have to think about that one again. One of those things, if we actually did a quantitative study, I'd reckon 90% of people would travel. Just constantly.
I don't travel at all, Orkin, so just don't pivot or move.
No, I know. I played with you for a long time, Liam.
The trick is if you don't move your feet at all, you can't travel.
Yeah, it's perfect. You just got those tasty throws as Peluche gets that. Pops it immediately. Down the line. Novak. Back to Peluche. Thinks about the flick, thinks about the backhand, decides to go with the latter option. Hrosho. Nothing really coming for him as Peluche makes that line. That is a tough inside flick break to get, but he makes it look so comfortable and easy. Lorenzo Palm playing defense. And then there's the blade, and it bounces out of the outstretched hands of Blahab. That was always going to be a difficult one to catch. Probably should have gone with a hammer, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, his decision making a little bit off there. He maybe should have stuck with his dump, gave him maybe 2 seconds, couldn't get free, decided to go with the blade.
Now we see Gasol resetting it. They're swinging it back. It's Palm, another one of these young players who's been so impressive. Down the line, and Palm's going to get it on the second attempt. Never doubted him. If you watched him at EYUC, he just loves doing that. I'm pretty sure he missed the first one on purpose so he could show off for the cameras, putting on a little bit of a show as things are getting spicy and close in between the cutters and the handlers. Frankeshi pops it back. And that's a beautiful backhand sweeping around. Trombetti with the disc. Goes for the leading pass. It's low to the ground, so it's responded by Edmund getting lower. Getting underneath it, and a high release flick for the dump. Why not? They've got style, they've got rhythm, and they're so difficult to stop when they're in this position. Huge grab for a deciding score to make it 14-11. And that's a big break, Liam.
Gigantic layout from Edmund. That was a trailing disc. Had to kind of arc his shoulder to get it under his hands. That was fantastic. Nickname of Ginger. Can't see why.
Yeah, normally like you can try and tie them in. Ginger, not so much.
Well, he certainly wasn't moving gingerly that one. He had to go full out. We see the layout early on to the point.
Lorenzo Palm extending. And here that was another beautiful backhand break. Edmund again.
He's going to need to wash his jersey after this point. He got down and dirty twice, and this one asked for the second time. As you see him diving, coming down hard. Had to catch it that way, though. The disc not flat. He had to arc his hand to match the angle of it.
Always blading into the ground. Edmund had other ideas, as now it's 14-11.
Game point to Bologna.
It was 12-11. This game, FUJ always been chasing it. They started strong, faded, chasing it since about 5-4, closed it back to that 1 point gap. Couldn't quite get over the hump, and now they're in a difficult position. Now they have to score 4 points on the trot. That might be a bridge too far. But FUJ taking a timeout, talking over how they're going to try and surmount this particular obstacle. Liam, is there any kind of change you think they could make?
They clearly need a man with pants to come in and talk to them in a spirit circle.
If only they knew where to get those pants, Liam.
The dark web from a hitman, Yogo Bonito. There you guys.
That's where you need to get it. Yogo Bonito Social Club Clothing Company via the Hitman delivery service.
Yeah, pick up some blue pills while you're there.
Because nobody wants to deal with reality. Especially warming up beside us and they're all in polo shirts. They are kind of stylish, I will begrudgingly admit. So FUJ hoping to implement some of these tactics. They don't have a man in pants, they have a man in a jacket. Poor substitute, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see if the Bologna D-line can keep their O-line off the field and end this game. That is a high pull.
It's a questionable one, but it's coming back in. It's going to be inbounds. It looks like Bologna coming out here with a zone to close out the game. Cup, you see right there in the teeth of it, Mori gesticulating, telling his defenders where to go.
Looks like it may be a 2-3-2 kind of zone.
Ridlo back into the middle, sweeping it back and forth. Stetka working with Blaha. Blaha's throw all the way through to Peluche as he gets it back. And now he's really starting to get comfortable, and that's a lovely shot to the end zone. Stetka into the sprinting figure of Nemecek. So again, a comfortable offensive hold. Perhaps a point too late, but they do make it 14-12.
We see Tejpar Sang coming on to this point. They can smell victory. They can taste it on their Italian lips.
And like many things on Italian lips, this is scintillating. That was a dangerous one there. Set myself up for a potential pitfall there with that metaphor.
I thought that was going to be a shout out to Sophia, who's watching here.
We love you, Sophia, even though Davide obviously no longer does. So, cusp. On the cusp.
Possible distraction on the sideline, the fantastic outfits of Yogo Bonito.
I can't tell if they're here to play frisbee or tennis.
Doesn't matter, Lorcan.
They're just here to look good, I suppose.
I don't even here to do either of those things. Tennis are ultimate, really.
No, mostly it's just the looking good thing. Well, trying to get their company off the ground.
Yeah, hot favorite going to fashionals, as we said earlier.
Let's here come FUJ. On defense, where they will remain as long as they can keep this game alive. Laffy, captain of the now famous Italian under-24 side. Tejpar, middle of the pitch, plenty of options. Hermitslav gets to him, gets tripped a little bit, doesn't call anything, wants to get right back into the action and does so with aplomb immediately. Gasparini looking to elicit some of his namesakes from the crowd. Pavan with it. This is nice, fluid, comfortable play, nothing too risky apart from that one. But what's a sauce without a bit of spice? Tejpar looking for options. Now he's got to look dump at some point, though he's able to draw the foul. And there's that crafty Canadian style. Drawing in the foul to reset the stall count, give himself an extra 10.
Yeah, he's a clever man, a cute fella. Couple of yards away from victory.
Now they could feel like a mile if we're able to shut down this offense. Although Sang stutter steps all the way around and beats Ridlo. So, in the end, a nice, comfortable, relaxed finish. Somewhat understated, but that's exactly what CUSB would have been looking to do here, Liam.
Yeah, and the silence is almost deafening. I think as you just hear the the FUJ hearts melt there. They knew they could have put in a better performance, perhaps. But Bologna showing their class. They'll be keeping this #1 seed, I feel, going into quarterfinals.
They certainly look like the team to beat at this tournament. And now, after that game, I believe they are the only unbeaten team left at Windmill. So who is going to come and claim that scalp? The only way to find out is to keep it here at YouTube, where we will be bringing you top quality ultimate all day long. The mixed division coming up next. But for now, we bid you adieu. It's been my pleasure to be Lorcan Murray.
It's been my pleasure to be Liam Grant.
It's my pleasure to be here with you, Liam.
Lots of pleasuring happening in the stands today.
Oh, things are starting to get a little bit saucy, and it's only Saturday morning. We'll talk to you soon.
Alti.tv